Okay, good morning to everybody. This morning we have the conclusion of this nice and interesting month dedicated to the problem about energy and ecological transition. Um, Today it's another key lesson, the final key lesson of September, and we are trying to connect all the thematic of this month because as usual, I felt that this is an Erasmus Plus project called Highland Community Manager. Our goal is to train professional, but policymakers, citizens, um, um, scholars, and other people that it's activity working into the highland and internal areas to understand the complexity. It's not that we want to train exactly the people, but we want to share different point of view because we like the metaphor of the Rubik cube. We cannot fit one face if you don't keep an eye of all other faces. So this key lesson is not only an open dialogue between some expert that we invite, but it's uh, we encourage the people participating to make questions and to interact with us. So at this point, if you have some question about the project, you want your role, you want to just, maybe it's the first time you are here, in the chat I will put the links where you can find all the information. Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So at this point, I give the floor to Anna Maria Mosa, and you can start with the ice breaking.
Hello everyone, good morning. Firstly, I want to remind you of the pre-evaluation of this key lesson. I send the link now on the chat, so if you can fill it now, it will be very grateful. We will be very grateful, and it will be really helpful for our reporting and for all the things that we do here. So in a moment, I will share the screen. Fabio, you need to allow me to share the screen.
You are right, I forgot.
Okay, now I also have the mic. Do you see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you should join, you should go menti.com and use this code, and you will be able to fill the words. So the first question is that words that comes to your mind when you hear renewable energies. I will also send the link on the chat. So I see that we have two people connected. Future. That it's quite big. I don't know why it's like this, but I see that only two people are connected. So if you can go to this link, also I sent it on the chat. And you just need, after you enter, you put this code that is up here. And then you just need to put some words that comes to your mind when you hear renewable energies. Sun, future sun, and sun. Confusion. Okay, that's good. That's why we will discuss today about renewable energies, sustainability, hope, hidden impacts. And we see that a lot of people are choosing future as a word. Complexity, wind, okay, I think we can go to the next question. It will be just one more. Okay, we still have something new, eco-friendly. And we are still waiting for people to join. You have the link in the chat because I see that some people, I think, joined recently. And you use this code that is here. And after that, you can help us with this beautiful word cloud. Okay, I'll go to the next and last question. And it's what words come to your mind actually, when you think of ecological transition? A very important thing that we should I think we should do more. Injustice. Greenwashing, politics. Okay, we went on a negative part now. Regeneration. Okay, still waiting for some ideas. Innovation. I see that now is not like a word that is more voted by people, it's just different words. Because when more people are choosing one word, the one is becoming more bigger in the screen. Okay, we'll wait for like a bit more. So we have more regeneration. Okay, so thank you for your for sharing these words with us. And also we have process. So I guess we can continue with starting the actually lesson of today. I will stop the screen.
Okay, so we can start, and we are perfect in time. And please, I ask to everybody to take their microphone closed and use the chat if you have a question. And I just will make a short così, resume of what happened this month. Now, we dedicate this month, September, to the environmental sustainability and climate resilience. We had three round tables. The first 4th of September, we spoke about agricultural practices and agroecology, and was really interesting because there was a lot of discussion between Viola Di Tullio, Sara Spissu, and Paolo Varese about the interaction between bees and ecosystems and vegetation, forest. So we are trying to understand how human and non-human start to interact and to shape our future. No, another thematics, the 11th of September, was about fields to food to bees, building resilient communities. This we are going on bees thematic, but it's interesting because the relation between ecosystem, humans, and bees, it's something that connects everything. And in this, we try to discuss the impact of the climate change on agriculture. So the change that are brought from this climate crisis that somebody said it not exist, but anyway, somebody think the earth is flat, so it's not this our problem. And there, Greca Meloni and Alessandra Guigoni and Francesco Di Jacopo discussed about this project and relation with communities, and was a really interesting discussion. And the 18th of September, we had an in-depth exchange about research and community project, because you know that the 5 pillars of European unions are the enterprise, municipalities and government organization, researchers, third sector, and citizens. So how we can connect research, how is important to connect research with practical activities on the field, because sometimes we arrive critics that research is too far away from people. People don't understand. So there was a nice, interesting discussion between Andrew Matthews, that's a professor of anthropology at University of Santa Cruz, and Silvia Rova is a director of the program manager of International Climate Change Research Center of University of Ca' Foscari in Venice. And so today, we are going more in deep about one of the thematics that it's the energy issue and ecological transition. Two words, renewable energies and ecological transition, two words that we listen every day, and there are a lot of misunderstanding of what is sustainable, what is sustainability, what is the famous ESG impact, ecological, social, cultural, and governance impact of what we do, and about these renewable energies. Today, we are here with three important persons that we choose to put together for have a different point of view. So we have Greca Natascia Meloni. It's an environmental anthropologist and researcher at the University of Vienna. She has worked on energy project in Sardinia, showing how areas considered abandoned are in fact rich of biodiversity and cultural meanings. And we have Cristiano Foderi. This is a researcher of Department d'Agri of University of Florence. He's an expert of forest management, fire ecology, but is an expert of innovative uses and biomass and about the new frontiers about the biomass. How can we interact with forest? And I will go in deeper. And Dragos Parashiva, it's a forest engineer from Romania, managing extensive forest areas, specialized in sustainable forestry, carbon sequestration, and emission reduction strategies. So what we can start is I ask to if you want to have to share with this key lesson one of your key case studies, so something that we can take an example, practical example to build our conversation, no? Because always we need to connect the words and the ideas we have with something really material that we can touch and feel. So I will start with Greca, and I ask to complete my presentation because it's very short. So please add what you think it's useful to add, and start with her case study. Please, Greca.
Thank you, Fabio, and thank you everyone for being here. It's very stimulating to have this conversation with you. Yes, as Fabio mentioned, I'm an environmental anthropologist and also visual anthropologist, which means that I use visual methods to conduct research at the moment in different parts of Europe, but my focus was in the past beekeeping in Sardinia, the island in Italy, and I am now working on a study about invasive species, to be specific, plants, eucalyptus, in different parts of Europe. So basically in Sardinia, but also in Spain, in Galicia, and in Portugal, where different species that belongs to this genus are affecting the environment and creating conflicts. And actually, it's very much connected to ecological question issues and biodiversity management, but especially with energy transition, as what is happening in is now happening in Sardinia and in Galicia is that sometimes so people support the possibility of eradicating these species because it doesn't belong there and because it's threatening the local biodiversity, but governments or corporations are actually then taking advantage from this kind of situation to put instead of the cultivations big farms, wind farms or sun farms, so photovoltaics and also wind mills. And this is obviously creating new problems. What I have witnessed with my ethnography in Sardinia was that I'm focusing on a case studies in a specific region where since 2018, basically this there was this territory that became one of the top, like the second in 2018 but then it became the first one for soil consumption in all Italy, like the first municipality in all Italy that was reported to have the highest range of soil consumption in Italy due to photovoltaics projects, which are still going, especially in the environmental impact assessment. And going through the projects that the corporations are submitting to the National Environmental Impact Assessment, it's very interesting to see how these corporations, in order to support and to show that these projects are supposed to be sustainable and help in the energy transition to a better future. And so they claim that there are a number of advantages, economic advantages for the communities. But then when they come to describing these economic advantages and also where the communities are, and they start to disappear from the projects. The whole structure of the environmental impact assessment is addresses specifically from a specific economic point of view, impacts on biodiversity and impacts like soil consumption or problem with the air pollution and these kind of things. Problems that might affect cultural heritage in the area, but the communities are somehow disappearing. So how do the communities are using these territories where these big corporations are going to build these energy farms? We don't know. And so recently in Sardinia, there have been a big movement against the energy transition, which has monopolized the whole discussion in a discussion, yes or no, without to have a middle point in which people can discuss how can we do an energy transition with trying to tackle all the goals that we are supposed to have with the energy transition, but in the meantime, without the risk of losing something. I have a particular case studies in which recently a corporation applied for the environmental impact assessment, and in order to do so in the month before, they eradicated many species of trees that were basically giving a characteristic landscape in that area. And then they applied and they put all the pictures of this place, describing it as a wasteland, which is common. It's a common term used by different corporations in different parts of Sardinia. So because this place, it's a wasteland, is not productive in terms of economic incomes, and because it's not, there is nothing there. So we are creating a better option, the option 1, which means we are putting sun farms, and so the communities will gain money. We will hire people from the territory, and this is going to have a very nice effect on the soil. But this is actually not true, because they are using policies in their advantages. So they are claiming that there is nothing, while, for instance, in this particular case, the community had a very strong connection to that area. But because this area was not formally included in the regional list of identity places, and then the corporation could claim that it has no identity connection to the community, although there are several activities that are going on in that area. And also the corporation could claim that there is nothing because there is olive oil plantations in that area, which they claim that is not productive, and there is nothing. But then doing ethnography with hunters in that area and other people that do practice different kind of things, including beekeepers, it was actually completely different, because we have reports that there are many species protected by international conventions and also by specific laws, like a priority species to be protected according to the regional laws. And also when recently they they presented a new report about the botanical composition in that area, we discovered that there are even more vegetal species that have to be protected in that area. They are like endangered species. So it's very interesting how this environmental impact assessment it's failing to acknowledge what it's actually the reality of the places, and it often it's based only on what is already available in terms of literature, and also what is already protected, but there is nothing that tells us what is there. And this could be a very good point to implement environmental impact assessment with with different kind of reports that tells what the communities do with that territory, what's happening there, like a more holistic view of what is going on in that territory. And that, I believe, would help to build projects that are much more welcomed by the communities, but also sustainable, because when then you remove everything, all the vegetal species in an area, and because you say there is only grass there, but that grass is actually very important for the pollinators, you are basically destroying an area, claiming that it's for their good, but eventually you are going against all the European strategies, like the pollinator strategies, the farm to fork strategy, and so on and so on. So it's very hard, and I think that the problem is that currently the environmental impact assessment is not designed to address the multiplicity of issues there are in every territory. And I think with that, I will give you back the floor.
Thank you very much, Greca. It's really interesting because you mix all the thematics that are at the base of this high-rank community manager process. So the complexity, the need of dialogue, and the difficulty. What I can say, because it's that too much time we see only people goes and see only one point of view. No, and it's difficult. Yes, I know. We know that it's difficult to mediate between all the different needs, because we need energy, we need working people to work, we need to preserve nature. So it's not easy, but it's possible. It's possible. We have hundreds of example in this during this conversation of how people success in putting together all these problems. So I give the floor now to Dragos Parashiva, who will bring his example, because it's very interesting in adding another point to this jigsaw puzzle. Dragos, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. So good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Dragos Paraschiva. I'm a forestry engineer from Romania, representing Silvador company. I come from a country where forests are deeply connected to people's lives, especially in rural and mountain areas. In my work at Silvador, I try to combine two perspectives: the technical side of the forestry and the carbon certification, and also the human side of the local communities that depend on these forests for their livelihoods and identity also. Let me share you the story of our Silvador Climate Action Project, a case study that shows how climate action, biodiversity protection, and also rural development can work together. Our short information, our project covers 2,300 hectares of forest in Dâmbovița, Argeș, Buzău, Prahova counties. In the foothills of the Carpathian Mountains, These are landscape for exceptional beauty and ecological value. Some of the project areas are part of Nature 2000 sites, which are protected at the European level because they are rare habitats and species. This means our work is not only about carbon, but also for safeguarding biodiversity and continental importance. Traditionally, these forests would have been harvested for timber, as usually, under normal management plans. Instead, we made a different choice to conserve them, to extend their lifespan, and to allow them to continue absorbing carbon by, I hope you know, photosynthesis. By doing this, we prevent a large emission of CO2 and we enable the forest to go on performing their natural function as carbon sinks. Over the lifetime of the project, we estimate that more than 400,000 tons of CO2 equivalent will be avoided or removal from the atmosphere. To ensure credibility, our project is fully certified. The forests are all of them are under FSC certification, which it guarantees responsible management. The project also is registered with Vera under verified carbon standard. So every credit corresponds to 1 real ton of CO2. We also comply by SD Vista, Vera Sustainable Development Framework, which recognize our social and ecological co-benefits. But beyond the technical framework, what matters the most is how this is seen by the people in the villages and the mountain communities. At first, there was a lot of skepticism. Back in my days, every rural areas should have a sawmill or a firewood deposit, and obvious the question was by a villager: if you don't cut trees, does that mean we cannot use the forest anymore? Others were worried that conservation would mean exclusion. Now, after 5 years or so, the perception has changed. The forest is still there, providing clean water, shade, and protection against erosion. People see that the project does not mean losing the forest, but valuing it differently. Young people are involving in monitoring activities using drones and GIS tools, which gives them pride and new skills. One villager also told me, for the first time, it feels like someone is rewarding us by keeping the forest alive, not for cutting it down. So those are different perspectives from other people. So it means, yeah, we are somehow different. This to me is it's a real success of the project. It showed that conservation can become a win-win situation. Local communities gain stability, dignity, and even new opportunities. And also the forest and its biodiversity, including Nature 2000 habitats, are preserved. And global partners obtain high-quality carbon credits that can help them meet their climate commitments and also helping us. For a business perspective, we are providing that sustainability and profitability can go hand in hand by monetizing carbon sequestration and make conservation financially viable. This allows us to cover the cost of certification, monitoring, and community involvement, and it creates a replica model for other regions. It shows protecting the environment does not have to be charity, as a lot of these kind of programs or projects are here in Romania or around Europe. It can be a sustainable business model that attracts investment and scale impact. Of course, challenges remain. Certification is costly and time-consuming. Carbon storage must be carefully monitored. Risks such as storm, wildfires, or pests need to have a strong management strategies. But these challenges only strengthen the project because they force us to be rigorous, transparent, and innovative. So when I think about ecological transition, I think about this type of model. One is regenerative, one that connects the local landscape with global climate goals, one that benefits people as well as nature. Well, in Romania, rural and mountain areas on our forest stands as a living proof that sustainability can be more than a slogan. It can be a reality. So yeah, thank you very much, and hope you understood this transition of future business as a forestry industry. Also, I want to make a short ad. In Romania, there are counties that used to live only, or let's say 70% only from forestry industry. I saw there are a lot of Romanian fellows here, as in Maramuresh. They used to harvest a lot of trees there and making their life by doing so. And now somehow we are trying to give another chance to this industry to make it maybe a new way of life, I would say, to the nature and to us as foresters. Thank you, Fabio.
Thank you, Dragos. Thank you very much, because you added the second main thematics of this month of discussion, so the relation between what it's the green, what we call the real green activities, the communities, and the enterprise, the profit, because at the moment we have to we need the money to make things, to pay people. So why is it possible? One of the questions is it possible to make profit with regenerative economies? So you gave one of the answer. I will add just a news that I received a few days in these days, that it's growing. It's we have this relation between profit and the profit. It's growing. So it's the news that we can, in Italy, we have this manifesto of the partnership between profit and no profit, because we need to have a common language and common rules. No, because one of the problem is, for example, for us anthropologists, what is tradition? So what we should consider tradition, how Greca said, it's abandonment. What is nothing for somebody, it's all for other people. So this is really, really interesting. At this point, I gave the floor to Cristiano Foderi. So please take your little, complete my short presentation and take your case studies, and some you can, after we will make the thought about all these cases. Thank you. Go, Cristiano. Cristiano, you're muted. Cristiano?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No,
Well,
yes.
I'm saying at this point, with this case of studies presented from the other related, I don't know if there can be something more to add as the main point on this vision. Just from my side, as probably Fabio already said, I'm a forest engineer. I work mainly on wildfire in Mediterranean areas and in South America. With different case of study, starting from working with the local communities, starting with the management of the grazing animal and their treatment as an extensive way from in a combination with what they commonly said Hi.Co.Ma is slash and cat practice. There is legal in some states in South America. So starting from this side, I started to pay more attention to all of the interaction between, of course, the way how wildfires behave in a center sense from a chemical and physical points to reach another possible goals, possible aim from my research that was related to the involvement with the local communities to understand, to better understand the way why wildfire appear and are so devastating. I mean, in the last probably 20 years, the surface of fire, both in South America, but also in Europe, are mainly doubled or more. This is a sign, a strong sign about the interaction from climate change and in particular related to all of the ocean and sea movement and temperature that cause a great state of convection in the air that produce the opportunity for a fire to develop in a very short time with devastating effects. What what can I say? The main thought that I have in mind after some years that I'm working with my team with local communities is probably related to other question that was studied since to the 70s and then let away. So we need to start again from the connection between between communities, between peoples, between a sort of a awareness about all of that concern the a sort of auto-defense space in the surrounding of the buildings and the infrastructures because as probably you already know in all of the Mediterranean areas or to said it better, most of the 50% of the biomes on the earth are fire susceptibility. So they are dependent of a certain regimes of fire to preserve from one side the natural composition in terms of specific diversity, and in this case, I'm I don't I don't want to use the term biodiversity because I think that are two different things, but this is one of the strength point of this type of approach, and from the other side, it's the only way we have in a cheaper way to maintain a rural and cultural heritage uh, environment, because the topic the topic of abandonment was already developed, so I don't want to add nothing more about that, but it's a serious problem for one side all of around the Europe, but it start to beginning something related to all of the planet. So we need to taking a famous citation from one of the most expert at the European level. We need to start to think the way we thought about fire. Fire is an instrument, it's a tool that we have. We need to learn how to use in the way we want, because the main problem are related to the all of the interface rural or forest urban area, because you know, a fire in a forest where there is more or less nothing. There are no street, there are no buildings, there are no facilities or other way. Uh, Probably have effects on ecology and on economics of the area lesser than different situation with buildings and so on. So just to conclude this uh, little speech, uh, I heard about uh, a just a moment on my notes. Um, Sustainable hood. Uh, One of the probably the first question that I have to put of all of the other participants is what should we interpret this kind of terms? So, of course, sustainability is probably in many times misunderstood or used in an inappropriate way. So we have probably defined the steps that arrange a sort of scheme, a sort of uh, dotted point list about the common and the more important aspects related to sustainability. And what about the other word, hood? Well, of course, I think probably every one of us are a total awareness about that forest sector, probably more in Romania, but also in many other countries in the Central and Eastern Europe are fundamental for the economics of these countries. But in many cases, this type of hoods reach a something, how can I say, have a way to use that are not so properly. I mean, if I have to cut a tree or a forest, much of the stems and then burn in a biomass central and a biomass plant, probably this is not sustainability. This is a temporary way to make a patch on the problem, but it's not the solution. We need to try other way to use and emphasize this kind of materials with extremely interesting properties that have a longer duration in terms of decades, for example. I mean, transformation like we do in a previous project in chemicals to treat leather or something like to have buildings materials, also non-structural materials, but just for insulation, or to make something that rise the cost of this kind of product that remain for decades, for centuries, hopefully, and stock carbons in this way. This is my thought, and the floor is totally yours.
Thank you very much, Cristiano, because you add the last point, and it's really interesting, because one of the things I was thinking when Dragos was speaking was we have a lot of law and procedure when we accumulate fuel, for example, or for hydroelectric energy. So because in Italy, we had a very big problem with hydroelectric dam that destroyed all the village of Fermo and a valley, because part of the mountain fall down into the basin, and all the wave, the dam stay there, no problem. Just the wave go up and down and destroy all the villages. So we have a lot of law, of normative procedure, but we have the same things about forest and all other energies that we think are there. Let's take a sentence that I listened during a workshop from a farmer, and for me it's really, really important. It's this farmer said, what people think is that if it's abandoned, is nature, and if it's green, belongs to everybody. So these 2 points, the way we have to think about nature and forest, that it's not just like there as staying there. We need to think about to preserve, to manage, to avoid for example, the main problem of biomass is fire. And fire, we use fire as a tool for thousands and thousands of years since we discovered the fire, and suddenly the fire become something really, really dangerous for the use. So it's nearly forbidden, and we can open a long discussion. So I invite everybody to go on, to all the speakers, to go on the question of Cristiano, about what is sustainability, and just think about this point, how people consider nature, so the relation between humans and non-humans, and how we can manage this deposit of carbon for sequestration, but some resources for the future. So give the floor to Greca about sustainability and the question of Cristiano.
Thank you so much. Actually, I was very inspired when Cristiano said that fire is an instrument, and I was thinking, I mean, this is a very crucial topic in cultural anthropology. How humans have developed it. So we learn at the school that when we have learned how to use fire as a tool, then we develop many other possibilities. And so we learn how to use other tools. We learn how to cook the meat, and this has affected how humanity has grown. And now fire is our enemy, and is our enemy because come back to Portugal. In Portugal, the fact that the eucalyptus is growing as a wilding species, so it's growing outside from the cultivations, because there is a system that there is not a registry of the lands. And so no one knows actually from to whom the lands belongs. So the eucalyptus globulus is growing outside from the cultivations. And the eucalyptus is a species that kind of takes advantages from the fire, because it's apparently the fruits that contains the seeds opens easily when there is a fire. And which means that help to spread the seeds and then to have more eucalyptus. So it's a plant that is kind of colonizing a land. And so for them, it's a crucial problem, because when you find cities surrounded by this kind of species, and then there is a fire, then you have a problem for the communities and the cities. And here I return to the difference between nature and humanity. So the problem is that we tend, at least in this part of the world, we tend to think that humans are or should be outside nature, and that the only possibility that we have to relate to forests and to the territory is that either we protect it or we consume it. But I think to be sustainable in a real term, it's a word that I hate. Sustainability and also biodiversity are two words that I really hate, but sometimes I lack any other term. I think we should reinvent a language that can address better these problematics. But really, if we consider ourselves humans as a part of the management of the forestry, as a not outside, not to protect only, but just to cooperate together. So the uses we can have of the fire or species to avoid, for instance, that one species can take over all the others, and so we cooperate with others. In the case of the eucalyptus, find other species that can help to contain, because we cannot eradicate all Portugal eucalyptus. It's impossible. The damage is done, and it's not possible. We cannot do that in Sardinia either. It would create even more damage to eradicate all at once all these plant species, and it's rather impossible. That's what an ecologist told me. But we can cooperate with other species to find a way to contain, to work together, to create a different ecosystem that can create the opportunity for humans to be safe. And so you are not surrounded by a species that is taking advantage from fire and then eventually will overcome you, but also that we can find a balance between the reasons of economy. So again, the eucalyptus is a species that you can use for biomass, so for creating energy, and but you cannot, or paper, but you cannot have a huge paper factory that needs thousands of hectares that no region, not the whole Iberian Peninsula can feed. So we need to have a scale. We need to think in a different way, to find a new language to address the problems of the communities, a language that is shared, that it's created with the communities. What do they understand when we talk about sustainability? And what do we understand when we are scientists, engineers, experts, when we are using these words: biodiversity, sustainability, assessment, economic growth? What do we intend when we use this kind of words? I think this is a very important aspect when we are talking about communities, because we are building a future based on multiple realities: the realities of the engineers that are creating the projects for energy transition, the realities of the people that are going to assess the environmental impact, the realities of the communities that are thinking, but we don't want this in our landscape because this is not good for us, because we want to keep the forest. But and the realities of those that say, but we need a different future. We cannot keep having this problem, because climate change will eventually create new challenges for us to be there as humans. So I guess that's a very important question to address. How can we change? How can we work to create a new language, a shared language that can be used to talk about at least one reality? Let's agree that if we are discussing about one community, we should all together talk about more or less the same things, and not things that are completely different, scenarios that are completely different, thinking that we are talking about the same place.
Thank you very much, Greca, because with your this point, you bring a new challenge. You bring up this discussion, because we are building the interaction between us in the same way. We should build the interaction between into the more than humans universe. Why this term? This term is different because I started speaking about humans, non-humans, and this is like putting humans from one side, non-humans from the other side. When we use the term more than humans, we make an inclusivity. So everybody, all humans and non-humans are part of the same universe, and they have to interact, dialogue, and okay, you ask how it's possible. Uh, if we start with this course, we started the first in May. The first month was dedicated to how to engage communities and what is participation. No? Now we arrive to the point that participation, that is something that still we have not between humans. Real participation, participative processes still is something really new, and we are introducing a new way, because in these participative processes we have to add the non-humans and more than humans. It's a challenge. Okay, it's not something that we know completely just now how to do it, but you see with this conversation. So now I give the floor to Dragos to add something from his experience about sustainability, that this was the question of Cristiano, and just to bring on all this discussion. Thanks, Dragos.
Thank you. I would like to have a different approach. As Greca told about eucalyptus, it is a very interesting topic. And here in Romania, we had the different approach, a problem maybe, I would say, some of them would say, about Robinia pseudoacacia, which is Robinia. It's a non-native species that was brought in Romania, in Europe, by a French gardener, actually. And also after that, it was brought to Romania, and a lot of people was worried about this kind of species, tree. A lot of them thought that is invasive. Invasive, it's a very, very another term that it's making me confusing a bit, because it's very subjective. How do you see this word invasive? Well, for acacia, for this species, the approach was a bit different, because this tree is actually it's gotta be used in a different way, to be planted in sandy soils, to stop the desertification, and maybe if it used as it should be, it wouldn't be such an invasive species as people used to say back in the days. And now in Bulgaria or in Romania, the acacia forest, it's a big percent of national forest areas. And this somehow, it's changing the perspective of the sustainability, because some of them saying that acacia, it's a species that we shouldn't have in a forest here in Romania or in Europe, because it's making it's a fast grower species, and it's somehow it's growing better than other species that it should. And actually somehow they think is making the things worse. But if you use it as it should be, this species would help a lot the foresty areas that a very problematic thing is here in Romania is the dryness of the oak species here, because there are different human and non-human factors, I would say. Climate change is one of the non-human factor, and after that also insects, and also the silvicultural approaches of the human factor by making the oak a bit weak or so, and so on. The sustainability word, it's kind of it's having a different approaches by the species of that we discuss. Like you have a forestry stand with oak that is getting occurred by acacia forest, acacia trees, and the oak that is should be the main and valuable species in that stand that should grow to, I don't know, 130 years and 170, 140, and maybe sequestrate the carbon for a long term, or being harvested and transformed into something valuable, as Cristiano said. And sequestration carbon is getting attacked somehow by this acacia species. Well, I'm seeing ways different, because this is also a sustainability for me. Somehow, forest it's changing their approach by the fact that climate change it's having a real impact here in Romania, from transition of this type of forest from a high valuable one, as I spoke about oaks, to a non that valuable one regarding wood product, as I said, acacia or hornbeam or so on. And but we have to see things in different ways, like carbon sequestration maybe, or acacia, it's a very good species for bee makers, for bees, making a very, very valuable honey that we use, we are harvesting, but we are not appreciating that species that much. And yeah, sustainability, it's a term that I would like to discuss more in a different approaches. You have to think a lot when you're saying, this is a battery, we should remove it, and to do the sustainable way of the forest stand by going with the oaks, the Vercus petrea or Vercus, I don't know, rubra, that it used to be a very valuable tree, to give it nice silvicultural treatments to make furniture or whatever. But I think we should approach it differently this time of the years, and maybe appreciate other maybe non-valuable species as acacia or hornbeam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dragos. This is really another thematic, no? How to manage to dialogue with invaders. So
Yes.
another thing now, trees migrate as humans. They move, using humans to move, to help them to move. Now, this is one of the results of the things we were thinking, me and Andrew Matthews, about our first article, where we saw how the migration of chestnuts and pine are moving, changing the temperature and the rain over the Monte Pisano. So you introduce another point, Dragos, and now we go back to Cristiano that launched put the stone into the lake, and we have all the waves going back. So Cristiano, that's for you. Go on.
Yeah, just something to add. Well, in this way, I have to try, and I repeat, just to try to put on the robe of an anthropologist, because something in my mind are starting to move, and I have some question to put on the table, and that probably needs to have to discuss the just a little intro. We are talking about land conservation, abandonment, protected area, and so on. We have not to forget that all of that type of landscape we are living in these days are a, a little son, a little son from the season, little sons from the seasons about the managers of the past. We are living in forest that probably in all or mainly all of the Europe are planted after the Second World War, and have more or less 70 or 80 years. In many cases, with different spaces, with different species, also including exotic species like Robinia pseudoacacia or acacia in the south of the Spain, but the list is almost impossible to remember all. So, what is my question or my provocation in this case? We have to start to a priority if we can, if we decide that this kind of priority is a really priority, that is the conservation of the landscape. That mainly is an architectural issue that really don't belong to our point of view, like a complex and extremely dynamic system that changes day by day, month by month, years by years, and so on. So, landscape probably, and this is my personal opinion, but of course, as I already said, it's just a provocation, just to put some pepper on the soup. um, uh, I want to say, landscape by my side has to be the expression of communities and local needs in terms of economics, firstly. And I think in a very global way, I don't think a specific sector, I think something like circular economics, extremely slow food chain that needs that impose to decide some modification. So, what is the question? Starting for starting from something that we can have already in mind. In many cases, landscape is see like a picture, something extremely static. But we need to change the kind of approach. We need to think about something more like a movie with different time, with different duration that join the needs of the population, of the communities that lives in this kind of landscape, obviously starting from the abandoned ones, the most probably represented, and probably this could be, and I repeat, could be a starting point to build up a connection between people and communities and all of the natural system. The real question, it's another, and then I stop my interventions. What do we really need? So we have to start by my side with an investigation about the necessities of the communities and all of the opportunities, all of the alternatives of the, yes, of course, the traditional ones that in many cases are the best, but also something different to put in motion something different. And this is totally related to a landscape change, of course, and at different scales to all of the other topics that I already mentioned. The other one, how, and this is probably the more difficult question I have in mind. How can we figure out our future? So, how and which kind of instrument we have to use to evaluate, to assess this kind of changes in the landscape and in the economical and ecological factors, and in which kind of time. So we are talking about 10 years, probably is not the best for us. We probably have to talk about 50 years. And this could be something that can, in a certain sense, build up a strategy, a different economical strategies for the sustainability, always with this kind of awful terms, but I'm sorry, sometimes it's useful to understand each other. And the other one, are we real able to imagine the needs for the future generation? Don't forget that what we have now is the thought about a sort of forest engineers in the mainly parts that in a certain moments decide to, yeah, okay, in this case we can plant Douglas fir. Why? Is not a natural plants of this landscape. Yes, but we have to, so we need to have paper pulp, we need to have wood, we need to have a rapid recolonization of totally clean mountain with problem related to erosion and to floods and so on. And this is the main issue, and probably we cannot reach a real response, but a sort of a series of possibility, because times goes by and goes by always faster. So the decision you make today, probably not tomorrow, but the next week, are not so valid. So it's a very, very complex and difficult way to think the total process on a so long time. But I think probably this is the my extreme resume of my thought about the question and about the answer of the other participant. So if we can be useful to suggest something or start always to start to think about this kind of point of view, probably can be useful to everyone. Every one of us has a different kind of experience, so we came from different scientific and specific worlds. As you know, Fabio, I really think connection and comparison are the only way to understand complex system from different way and try to get a balance between everything. But if I understand well what you and what the others said, this is something, well, I said it in a very, very simple way. The start is up to us. We can put in a movement something, we can put some good idea, we can put some interesting approach, we can study different kind of use of all of that we can define a renewable or reusable, so also in terms of byproducts and not refuse. So this is what I have to add to this kind of discussion in this moment, and yes, it's your.
Wow, you put on the table the core of the problem, because we was going around, but this is the elephant into the room. So thank you really, Cristiano, because you put the elephant. Okay, there is an elephant here in this room. Did you see it? And you put a possible solution. But to comment my comments, I will give the floor to the other anthropologist that isn't speaking. So Greca, please.
I'm sorry, we need a bigger room. It's sure. It's for sure.
I agree that we need a bigger room. So I want to reply to Cristiano by starting with what Dragos said. Acacia was intended for another reasons, and it's very funny because eucalyptus too was intended for another reason. So I use an approach that was very similar to what Andrew Matthews and also Fabio did in Tuscany. I shut down all the ideas I heard about the eucalyptus. It's not autochthonous. It was intended for land reclamation. It's because of the fascist and so on and so on. I shut down all of this information and I start to look why is this plant here? And then I discovered that it was intended for another purpose. The idea of the forestry engineers that planted in Spain, in Italy, in Portugal, which they were actually connected, this plantation at the beginning, was to provide several opportunities. So land reclamation was the very least you could do with that plant. But the idea was that you had a plant that you could use the wood for the sidelines in the mines, for instance, in the railways. You could use it to produce honey. And acacia was also close to this because they were bringing eucalyptus and acacia. So you could use it for the essential oil. You could use it for paper, to build furnitures, depending on the species, and also to burn it, so as a biomass and fuel. So the idea was not to reclaim a wasted land, but rather to give several opportunities. But out of this range of things, only one came out. And then for many years, all these ideas about eucalyptus is spreading, is all this, it's bad. There is not such a plant that can be only bad or good. It depends on what we do with that. And so how was intended? And now we come to the present. In the present, at least in my case studies, I have witnessed a lot of regional administrators that when the projects are presented to the environmental impact assessment, initially, some of them said, okay, we want to replace eucalyptus plantations with photovoltaics, but we are going to take the eucalyptus, since this area, it's an agricultural area where the eucalyptus is so much present, we are going to make the external part of the project with eucalyptus. So we are going to keep kind of the same vision. And then many of the people from the region, at least at the beginning, were replying, but the eucalyptus is not an autochthonous species, so you should remove it and instead plant oak or olive oils or whatever autochthonous species. Just because they are autochthonous, not because they were there, because they don't know if they were there actually before there was the eucalyptus, because no alive person is actually there now to tell us how this landscape was before the eucalyptus. So the eucalyptus has been there more than humans that we have now. But there was this idea, and there is still this idea in the mind of the people, that is this picture, what it should be. And I think there is a time where it should be. So they are trying to change the landscape of the present according to what they have fixed in their mind, like a painting. but it's what they think is not necessarily what it used to be. And it's very stupid. So what do we need for the future? Is there someone that is actually asking the people that will likely be in the future, like the young generations? They are trying to speak, but they are kind of shut down by all these people that have more knowledge and experience. What do we want in the future? What do we need for a future to be there? Because sometimes, I mean, it's likely if you have an area there, it's likely to be a desert in the next 20 years. So what do you want there? What do you want to be? So can we really bring back in time the landscape and the territory to an ideal past? Or should we think about something that it's more like a real future? How do we address and what do we need in order to, who are the people that need that? So in Sardinia, during the big conflicts around the energy transition, one of the topics that was brought up constantly was these elderly people like 90 or even 99 or even 100 years old signing a petition to stop the transition. And as much as I like these elderly peoples, and sorry, okay. As much as speaking about new generations, as much as I like and I respect elderly people, this 100 years old won't be in the future. They are lucky to be in the present, actually. And I'm sorry to say that, but they are lucky to be in the present if you are 100 years old. So you are giving so much power about a future to people that won't see it and that most likely don't even understand the present because were born in a time that is not even our time. We use computer. We are meeting up right now, like across Europe. People are joining us across Europe, and at the same time, there are people doing whatever in the world. So we are much more aware of what is going on in the whole world because of this system. So we share our emotion through social medias. We use GIS and many other tools, and even artificial intelligence to detect problems and they also want to use it for fire management. So how can we think that these people have the right to tell us how the future should be? And so why do we open the table for discussion also for the new generation, that they might have an idea of what they want in the future, what they need in the future. And maybe we should be also humble to listen to them, that our categories are no longer useful, or maybe we should change them, maybe radically or maybe not, but probably we should be open to change them to address the needs and the opportunities of those people that are likely to be in the future, that is actually there, because theoretically the energy transition should be kind of established by 2030 if if we are going to do our job, which is not happening. I think it's completely unlikely that we are going to meet all the goals. So yeah, we need a bigger room to make space for those that are not here today, but also to make space for those thoughts that are need to be brought, like those elephants that are there, but we keep like taking the carpets and covering them, you know. So yeah, I leave you the space.
Thank you, Greca, because you bring the order, no? the thematic of how we should interact with all the stakeholders, and no, but I will close after. Now I'd like to listen to Dragos, what he think, because it's getting hot, this discussion. So Dragos, please.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna tell you a short story of what I heard, actually, because I didn't live those times during the communism times. A lot of the I'm talking about landscapes that you used to say about changes or conservation, or yeah. Back in the days, Romania was heavily centralized in agriculture, often forced. I mean, working some lands that were not proper for farming. They somehow, Ceausescu, our dictator, so forced those surfaces to be cultivated extremely with I don't know, grain or whatever, corn. He used to say that he would like to make Romania great again. No, the granary of Europe. So that's what he did. He focused only on agriculture, all the space that he would have besides some forestry areas. They forced people around Romania to focus on agriculture. That's what happened to my parents also. They used to go to a cherry farm, plum farm, or whatever during their school days or summer holidays, going there and doing agriculture. And after that, after 89, communism fell, and all those lands were somehow let it as they used to farm it a bit, but after the old generation somehow passed away, those lands were not meant to the agriculture land, and nature regained their power. And after that, all those areas, farming areas, were transformed, actually, were not really transformed, were gained as forestry areas. Discuss that I always tell to people around during my workshop or so on. I'm telling them, I ask them about forestry areas in Romania. Most of them are saying that what they heard on news and media, they're saying we are losing hundreds of hectares per month, per year, per whatever. A lot of hectares we are going out of forest surface. Well, I'm trying to tell them something different, is that Romania is actually increasing their forestry areas a lot. In like 3 decades, it gained from 6.4, 6.3 million, close to 7 million hectares of forest. And that's one of the main reasons, is because the landscape changed. The farmlands that it used to be during the communist time transform or whatever became a forest now on. So I'm also having some areas that my grandparents used to grow different kind of fruits or so on, and now it's simply a forest. I would like to harvest some firewood from it and to, I don't know, but in papers now it's forest. A lot of confusion. It's mistakes between people are saying deforestation is happening a lot in Romania. Well, that's totally different thing. They want to say about clear cuts, but clear cuts is not same as deforestation, because deforestation is changing the nature of the land, And yeah, clear cuts is not. After the clear cut, you will have to replant there in 3 years. It's mandatory as a forest law here, and that's what I would like to relieve, because people are somehow are having misinformation about those aspects of conservation landscape or landscape changes. Um, and we have to help them a lot and to teach them that is not as they see in media, or I don't know, on Instagram or whatever. Because those are facts actually. And this is a point that I would like to pinpoint out.
Well, we are going to the end of this great discussion. Before giving the closing, the wrap up, I'd like to have a very fast turn of you, just to go on this very nice interaction between you, all the speakers. So we have less than 10 minutes. I take the last 5-6 minutes to make the wrap up and the final recommendation. And so please have a very fast, like 1.5 minutes each, to closing this wonderful exchange. So we start with Cristiano and Greca and Dragos again, please.
I'm sorry, Fabio, I have the postman at the door, so I lose the last 3 or 2 minutes. So if I can say maybe someone else could start this resume, and probably I can add something at the end. I'm sorry.
Perfect. No, don't worry. It's like the world is like this. We have all the faces to keep of the Rubik cube together, because we cannot take some color out. We have sons, we have families, we have the life it's out of the place we are living. So everything should be kept together. So the natural round, it was Greca and Dragos, and the last Cristiano. The final sentence, how you close this nice discussion before my wrap up. Bye, Greca.
Very hard to be very short, but I think what I see here, it's a lot of similarities between, for instance, my case studies, and I'm an anthropologist working in, let's say, west side of Europe, and then the other people working in even different context. So I think there should be more places, more opportunities to discuss and see how can we together have a conclusion. So how can we together build this future, I would say. And I finish here.
Okay, pass the floor automatically. So Dragos, for you.
Yeah, well, I'll also be quick. I really enjoyed that. All of us have, as Greca said, we are common things that we share. We have some, even though we are kind of different in our jobs or so on, our age or whatever, we have the same line that we align as a nature fans. I'm also a fan of nature. I told you about how do I got into it. Here I just enjoy nature. That's why I became a forester. So I think all of us are this kind of people, and yeah, was great to receive information and also discuss about same topics, but also being different from approach. And yeah, I enjoyed staying with you. I appreciate my colleague Cristiano being also a forester. I think we also work together. So on Blue Biloba, you working
Yeah,
on Blue Biloba?
yeah,
Oh, we are working on the same project actually.
yeah,
Founded
yeah. I know,
by,
I know,
yeah,
I know, I know.
synthetic. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we see in the future also.
Yeah, of course. I hope.
Yeah. And yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. It was great.
Well, it's my turn, and firstly, I want to thank all of this group for this exchange of information, approach, and type of view. In many cases, the same problems from different aspects, from different way. Um, I think this is probably the better approach we can start with. So this is, I think, an opportunity. We have a different path. We have different way to see something, of course, and this is, by my side, is a point of strength. And just to finish, I think this kind of project, of course, is not the total solution to the problem that it's, as we said, it's extremely complex and articulated, but probably this kind of group, this kind of composition, adding someone else when we can and when they are want to be involved in this kind of project could be just a little break in a fence that we have to destroy totally to begin to start something new, begin to start a new way to think about our future, how to use our resources for many years, I don't know, in which kind of approach, but of course, we have to a total, total comparison and discussion with communities, politicians, of course, and all of the infrastructure that manage all of the landscape of the natural system and all of the interaction between natural system and human anthropics system. So this is a very, very challenging, but well, we have to start from the first brick and then try to build. I don't know an house, but something that could be similar about that. Just it.
So perfect. Thank you to everybody. I will be very fast. For first thing, I will remember that the next month, October, will be the month of youth engagement and social inclusion. So I will take charge to organize one of the roundtable on how we can include and create these more than humans, because, and this is the second point, next week I will be at the Why the World Needs Anthropologist of the European Anthropologist Association, and I have a key speech about this, so I will bring this because anthropology has studied since a long time all these multi-species ethnographies. We studied as humans has solved this problem of interact with all the in this more than human society, and we used to represent the others, the non-humans, as into the rituals, into the performative practices, into the taboos. So what all the things that for centuries, the last century, were considered something prehistorical, something old, something weird, and all the magic thought, all these things, in reality was the perfect way to interact with in this modern humans world that it's dense of other presence. So we started the project. It's an Horizon project. We hope will be financed. We present in a very big group of university and the Anthropological Research Center, just about this, the word of retro innovation, how to recover all this past tradition and local ecological knowledge, and through science, because science has this big capability of systematize, organize, to make knowledge intersubjective, so to exchange knowledge, and try to mix, understand, in this case about olive groves, how we can and how we should to recover the ancient and the local knowledge, and in this time of crisis of climate crisis, and very fast climate changing, that never there was something similar in the human history. Okay, there were climate changes, but never on the fast. Okay, I will close just saying that one of the metaphor I'd like to put as point to keep, because now Cristiano will say which will be our horizon in the future. I'd like the metaphor of the farmer. We plant grapes for us, for make wine. In 2 years they give fruits. We plant olives, grows for our sons, because they need 7, 8, 10 years to give fruits. And we plant chestnuts for our nephews, because we are thinking in the future. So our project should be like this: planting grapes, olives, and chestnuts. Time horizon. I will be the center, and I will connect everybody to how we can build a lab about all the things that we are organizing in this course. So I will collect the appeal of Cristiano. I have an idea, and when it's more funded, more can touch, I will share with you. So at this point, I say really thanks to everybody, to all the speakers, because was a great interaction between you, and this is what we want. Okay, we want people that interact and build knowledge and thought one over the other. And this is the real collaboration, the real, for me, the transdisciplinary, and we are working on other words too, because we need new words, we need new way to define things. So again, thank you to everybody. I remember that in the chat you have all the links to. We have a discussion group on WhatsApp. We have a community on WhatsApp. So you just click on the link, you can enter and interact with all the experts, all the students, all the participants. We change the way that this course started as online synchronous course. Now we have a lot of people asking, please, I couldn't follow the one lesson, I couldn't follow the other. So we decide to move in asynchronous way. So you can, if there's somebody that want to participate, want to be one of the first Highland community managers diploma, he can engage a student, and we will organize an offline. We have time until month, so we have time to go on. So please engage, tell to friends, and everything is recorded. If something is missing, just because we are a bit late with the website, but everything is there, and in a few days will be everything for you and you. So thank you again, and remember, next month, young engagement and inclusivity. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Nice to meet you.
Meet you.
Bye.